Welcome to another Unwinding with Fiber and Fabric and day 4 of Vlogmas 2022. I have my calendar page up and I have my stuff ready. I have finally succumbed to the realization that no amount of lighting adjustment is going to make it so that you can easily differentiate between the wheel and me if I'm using my Kromsky minstrel. So after the insistence by my daughter and the suggestion by my husband and son, I have switched to using my daughter's spinning wheel. Funny thing about that, she made the comment to me that she thought her wheel could use a little love. And so I was testing it out. It's definitely not been broken in the same way as my minstrel has, mainly because she keeps going into the Peace Corps and leaving the wheel with me. But I sat down and did a test spin on it to make sure everything was working just fine before I committed to using it today. And when I was spinning, I noticed, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but I noticed right here, there's been some love bites given to it. This wheel's been sitting in the room that our small kittens have been in, and it appears that they felt like they needed to taste it. Our male kitten, he goes by, his official name is Meatball, but we've started calling him Ringo. And he thinks, much like many small children, that everything must be tasted. And it appears he felt the tip of the wheel needed to be tasted. So when I showed a picture of that to my daughter, her comment was, "Mom, when I said my wheel needed a little love, that's not the kind of love I meant." But she laughed. She thought it was all good. Nothing like having the kittens break in your wheel. So as you can see, I have my fancier drop cloth on my lap ready to go, and we should just go ahead and dive in to another day. Reaching around, let's not reach all the way to the bottom because I've been doing that, and let's pull this out. Let's see what we have. I can't believe we're already on day 4, and that, knocking on wood, we haven't had any major technical difficulties other than the fact that the wheel and I blended in together too many days in a row. And even when I wear a lighter color, the wheel was just dark. So, but I have my chocolate, another little present. And, oh yes, now I remember. So I believe it was on day 2, my challenge for myself was to play with gems or beads. I want to report that although on day 3 I totally forgot to wear them, I made myself some earrings. I will, of course, show pictures. They were woodcut earrings that I had done a few weeks back. I can't remember when. But I hadn't finished them. I hadn't put attached anything to them. And I decided that they might look really good with little gems dangling off of them. Very pleased with the result, and it was. Even though I was tired, it was a wonderfully unwinding little kind of quiet moment. Just me and my pliers and my gems and making my hands do fiddly stuff like that. So, that was a real success. I have a number of sets. I'm sure I've already shown you the pictures. I'm really pleased. So, oh yes, let's pull the fiber out. This is golden pear, and I don't know if I've already done the exhaust of it, but this is not the exhaust. This is, there we go, just the color golden pear. And oh wow, yes, this is one. So golden pear isn't exactly green. I mean, it kind of is. I think it may have split a little bit, but let me show all the way up. And let me show the other camera, which has been, there we go, been getting a little truer to color shots. I've been very pleased with the way my cameras are set up. It's been working. Again, knock on wood, being very grateful. But yes, golden pear. So all of a sudden, it is in the green. Oops, that's not what I turned. This is what I turned. It is in the green family. It does have an undertone of green, but it certainly came out much more orange. Okay, so switching wheels. I did do a test, but I'm spinning different fiber than my test sample, was. So I found the golden pear. It is a really pretty color, whether it's split or not. When you think about it, pears are not necessarily green, but I put it in the green family because it does have an undertone of green, as in a little bit more of an unripened pear. So it does fall into my green category, and there is definitely a green undertone to this. I'm attempting to once again do this vlog without having all the cats running around, but it's an odd time of the day and the little ones may not be amenable to being locked up. We will see. We will spin like the wind. So, we're at day 4, December 4th, and I have to tell you, I'm really enjoying the challenge, not of just spinning every day. That I've done a few times before, but the challenge of spinning, of putting together the vlogs, but also doing these little challenges from my little jar, doing these little challenges and actually, who's going to police them, right? But I'm policing them, and I have to tell you, sitting down and reading a book during this crazy time of the year when I have so many things I want to make. I've made up all of these countdown to the 25th calendar pages, but I also would like to make some pages that take me from Christmas until New Year's. And so there's tons of things I want to do. There's tons of cleaning and cooking and all of this, and sometimes there's so much that I want to do that I can't figure out what I'm doing. What I'm doing, what I'm supposed to be doing, what needs to be done. And so it's been really nice to have these challenges to say, okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to try something a little different. And I sat down and I read a book, or I read part of a book. The big thing I did is I sat down, and there's a number of books that I have purchased recently for, I should say, purchased that my daughter can read, or that she was interested in, trying to decide which things I wanted to read. And at the end of the day, I ended up settling on a book that I think my daughter had purchased when she was still at home. And I'm not very far into it, but it's completely different feel and topic than what I normally read. I like to read a lot of cozy mysteries and things like that. But so far I'm enjoying it, and I don't think I would have actually sat down and tried this different this different genre, I guess, if I hadn't challenged myself during this Vlogmas season. So I am really enjoying that. In editing the videos, it's really interesting when I edit the videos and I watch back and I figure out where I'm going to put the close-ups of the spinning versus, just looking at me all the time. When I sit and I go through it, one of the things when I first started doing these vlogs, now it's been over 2 years, at first I couldn't even speak to the camera. And then I struggled a lot with listening to myself as I edited. But now what I find it is very interesting to sit down and go, okay, was there a theme? What would I call the title of this? Was there a theme? Was there a message in the the rambling as I spin? And I've been really touched with the first 3 days, and I hope I continue to have content to share, ramblings. There are definitely some naps in this that need to be taken out. A little too big to leave in until I apply. But yeah, but one of the things that in getting to this day 4, the hurdles that have to be, conquered or crossed or leapt over to get to this point. I find myself now able to, now that I've gotten the first few days under my belt, I find myself feeling a real sense of gratitude for the opportunity to do this. The opportunity to have something to share, the opportunity that even just 1 or 2 of you might watch. Oh, and definitely grateful for those of you that have made comments in the past, who will make comments in the future. You will never know just how warm my heart is every time I see a comment pop up on my little vlogs. It's never for me been about having huge numbers, although I joke with my husband, at times about, how we can get, how I might go viral if, it's never been about the numbers. It's always been just about recording these and sharing them. And those of you that have commented, I do remember your names from month to month and week to week and season to season. I do. You touch my heart when you comment, when you reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, when you hit like, or just simply when I look at the analytics and I see how many of you have actually watched the whole video. So, I don't stress and worry about the numbers. I am nowhere close to ever being able to have monetary gain from my YouTube. But I do pay attention to the percentage of you that actually do watch all the way to the end. And a core following, even a very small core following, just humbles me. Just makes me feel hope and joy. Not just because, not because I'm like, okay, somebody out there likes me. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that for 20 or 30 minutes of a day, somebody had me come into their home to hopefully share the very thing that I watch other vloggers, other YouTube channels for different things, that other vloggers are giving back to me. I mean, it touches me that somebody invited me into their home and, in essence, had me sit down to tea or a hot cup of cocoa. Just seeing the numbers seeing those percentages, seeing that month in and month out, there are a few people, and maybe not even the same people, but there are a few people who find me somebody they want to welcome into their home. That just touches me. It really touches at me, and it makes me just very filled with joy and gratitude. So, we're getting closer here on the spinning. Don't want to be too sappy or melancholy. We need to laugh. We need to find joy. We need to, yes, when the camera's off, there might be tears. There might be gnashing of teeth. There might be frustration. But it is nice to feel like for a few minutes of the day, we're taking time to have a little cookie or a snack or just the camaraderie. And I guess that's, I think, maybe the reflection I'll have for today to share. My grandmother, the wife of a dairyman, she did love hosting friends over. Back in the day, she was a Tupperware lady. And she enjoyed hosting friends. She enjoyed having people over. She enjoyed that kind of interaction. And most importantly, though, like her own mother, which I knew my great-grandmother as well, she loved putting down whatever she was working on, sit and chat if somebody just stopped by. Whether the somebody stopping by was one of her children or grandchildren or a neighbor, or a nephew or a niece. She had a number of nephews that worked for my grandfather on and off at different times over the years. And it didn't matter. If you stopped by, she would set aside whatever she was doing, offer you a cookie that she kept in the freezer. She made chocolate chip cookies that were meant to be crisp, not soft, once they'd cooled. And she put them in the freezer. She'd take these big ice cream buckets and she'd fill them up and put them in the freezer. And a big deep freezer. And the big deep freezer was in the garage by the garage door. And of course, while some people may have occasionally, the church women may have come through the front door, everyone else came through the garage door. Grandchildren, children, nephews, brother-in-laws, neighbors down the road, other farmers in the area stopping by, whatever. If somebody stopped by, they usually came through the garage door, past the big deep freezers, and past those buckets of cookies. And I am sure that most of her visitors walked in her back door with cookies in hand already. But my grandmother, she loved to sit down and catch up, have a little chat, listen to their day, listen to maybe their problems, their questions, or just have a little mothering, because that's what they came for. If you got there around when she had food, she had no problem having you sit down at the counter, and she'd give you something to eat. When we were little, it was always peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And homemade jam, of course. Freezer jam. Oh, she was always trying different recipes that would make it easier. She did not believe we should be doing things the hard way. I'm not sure what she would think of me spinning my own yarn, honestly. Everything about her was, wait a minute, we've already put those days behind us. I don't want to go back. So she had a freezer jam that I'm pretty sure she used gelatin, to thicken. I can't say it was the easiest thing to make, put on your bread. Oh, but once you finished eating all the bigger fruit towards that rose to the top, that semi-jelly substance down at the bottom made great ice cream topping. And occasionally, we'd get to try some. But usually, my grandfather got to it first. But she loved to have the visit. When we couldn't visit in person, she loved talking to us on the phone. I know that she chatted with her mother pretty much every week. I know that she chatted with her sisters. And there we have it. Oh, and we're running a little late. We're running over that 20-minute mark. But she loved to have the chat. And that is what I hope I'm offering out there for you. That's how I feel. I feel like I don't know who you are, except for when your name pops up. And I, don't know much about you, but I'm more than happy to sit and chat with you. And I feel like you are here with me, especially those of you that have reached out. So let's grab a thing and wrap this puppy up before we get any later in the day. We've got to get on to whatever the suggestion is and more Christmas countdown. Oh, yay! Make a savory treat. So, as I've been doing, I'll make sure to put pictures at the end of this video of whatever savory treat. I think I may make herb bread. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'll do. Make a savory treat. Because if I make herb bread, maybe I can then make some cream cheese, flavored cream cheese dip to spread on it. Ooh, yeah, I'm liking this idea. Well, I'm going to let you continue unwinding with fiber and fabric. Put that camera there so you can see it. While I go and make myself a little snack. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you tomorrow.